This message comes from Great Wolf Lodge. There's adventure for the whole family, including an indoor water park that's always 84 degrees, attractions, spacious suites, and more. You're just a short drive away from an unforgettable family getaway. Learn more at greatwolf.com.
If you had to make a movie set in Arkansas, what genre would it be?
They get tornadoes there, right? Those are some of my favorite. I love Twister. I love Twisters. So I would say tornado action movie.
Okay, that is a good one. That's a really, really good one.
Wait, I decided mine. It's a rom-com called I Arkansas You From Across the Room.
Oh, that's
Goodbye.
Perfect.
Writes itself.
That's perfect. You've won Project Greenlight today. Well, today's story takes us to Conway, Arkansas, where 120 social media live streamers of all ages and backgrounds descended on Hendrix College, a private liberal arts institution that for 5 days earlier this summer had a new name, Streamer University. Veteran streamers became professors, and hopefuls from across the nation were the bright-eyed students there to learn how to make their content creator career aspirations come true. And, of course, to stream every living second of their experience to a steadily growing online audience. And just like with real college, there were standout students. There were hijinks. The, quote, students even stayed in dorms and routinely skipped class. You couldn't tell the mastermind behind it all, viral Twitch streamer Kai Cenat, that he hadn't struck content creation gold. According to data pulled by a Streamlabs partner, the second-year event gained nearly 58 million watch hours, 12.5 million followers, and almost 40,000 self-paid subscribers. Wow. Now, it may look like fun and games, but behind the live stream scavenger hunts and content classes is a real turning point in how we consume social media and how brands intend to get our attention, whether we know it or not. To get into that shift and what it means for our experience online, I'm here with Rebecca Jennings, features writer for New York Magazine, and Alyssa Mercante, senior reporter at Digiday Magazine. Welcome to It's Been a Minute.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hello, hello. I'm Brittany Luce, and you're listening to It's Been a Minute from NPR, a show about what's going on in culture and why it doesn't happen by accident. And a reminder, if you love It's Been a Minute, which from the sweet comments y'all have been leaving, it sounds like maybe you do, be sure to follow or subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. That way you get new episodes the moment they drop. Okay, Alyssa, you've described Streamer University as more than a viral event. Feels like a blueprint for the future of entertainment. What makes you say that?
Well, I would say from like a branding perspective, it's been notoriously and historically difficult for brands to kind of break into streaming. You know, they stream for a very long time. It used to be rooted in gaming. It was kind of hard to find different ways to break in that felt natural. They can't do an ad read in the middle of a live stream because it just immediately sets off alarm bells for their viewers. So now that there's this sort of clipping economy and we have companies that hire people to clip streamers and post them all over other social media platforms, you get this new way for brands to just kind of show up in the background or be this sort of persistent shadow in this content. And then obviously what's really interesting from an entertainment perspective is these hours, 8, 9, 10 hour long streams can be broken up into much more palatable short form content and posted anywhere and everywhere. So you don't even need to be sitting down and watching this person for 8 hours. You'll inevitably see it on TikTok or X at some point while you're scrolling, which is fascinating.
Wow. We will get back to the clipping economy in a minute because I want to get more into that. But first, Rebecca, you write that we're living through a, quote, influencer recession. Why do you think audiences suddenly stopped responding to the aspirational lifestyle content that's basically dominated social media for the last decade?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what's happening now is that there are just simply too many people wanting to work in the attention economy. And attention is like a supply and demand business. At some point, there is going to be too much supply. And so what we're seeing is a lot of these lifestyle influencers that, 5-10 years ago would have, with enough consistency, if they post something that looks aspirational and cool enough, people will find their audience. But now that kind of everyone has to be everything to everyone, and everyone has to be reaching new For You pages all the time on every single platform. What worked 5 years ago is not working anymore. And individuals are competing against, like Alyssa said, these people that are paying Discord members, thousands of dollars potentially to just spam social websites with clips of a certain podcast, a concert, a movie trailer, anything. And so one person who's just making like your average content that a lot of other people are making is never going to be able to sift through the noise and reach a potential fan. So it's just a lot harder to make a career now at this than it used to be.
It just sounds like a lot to contend with. Like, just seems like there's just more content than ever. And so now it's like people have to figure out new ways to sort of be heard above the usual din of voices.
Yeah, exactly. And so you'll see people like gravitate towards more extreme stunts or rage baiting or anything they can do to make people like stop scrolling. The streaming economy is a huge part of that. There's now so many people that want to be the next Kai Cenat that they are resorting to like ever more insane things to get that attention that he was able to build because he was one of the first people back in the streaming boom in the early 2020s.
Okay, so I feel like this fits in really well with the idea of the clipping economy. Alyssa, you talk about the clipping economy as like a turning point for live streaming. It feels very connected to sort of like this escalation across the board of how much content people are supposed to be pumping out and how aggressively they're trying to reach people. Can you explain to me what exactly the clipping economy is? Like why has it changed the relationship between creators and the audiences that consume their content?
I mean, obviously a huge issue is the length of a live stream is just, it's very difficult for someone to tune into that for the entirety of it.
I mean, that's fair.
And so there are people who kind of figured out that this was a growth issue, that this was an engagement issue for people who live stream. There's a young guy named Anthony Fujiwara. He launched Clipping, the company called Clipping, in 2025. And he's largely the reason why we know who Clavicular is, the controversial streamer who hits himself in the face with a hammer to make himself look more handsome.
Right.
His company earned like 7.7 million in sales as of like October of last year.
What?
Yes. This is a massive, massive economy that also in many ways, even though they're making that much money, the cost of individually hiring one of their clippers to make content for you and push it out is often lower than a traditional marketing push.
But is it like are you always paying someone, or is it like fans, or is it just sometimes like random bots?
Sometimes it's a super parasocial thing. It's someone who's already in the community who really likes a streamer, who wants to get that streamer's attention. So they clip really good clips for them and they share them on X or on TikTok, and they hope that they'll repost them. A lot of the times in these creator communities, there are people who want to be creators and they want to build themselves up within that community to be like recognized by that creator, whether it's verbally during a live stream, a shout out for them gifting subs or saying something in the chat, or it's by making content off of that creator's content. I mean, it is this really kind of crazy sort of Ouroboros of like content farming that you can just have people in your community that are dedicated and like you as a creator, or in many cases are hate watching you and trying to clip you out of context to post things that make you look bad.
Okay, so Alyssa, one of the reasons you argue that streamers feel more authentic than traditional influencers is because viewers witness sort of like these messy, unscripted moments. We're already seeing streamers like Kai Cenat, like IShowSpeed, like become celebrities in their own right. I mean, I knew IShowSpeed was famous. I didn't know he was like famous until the World Cup. And I was like, oh, okay. Like the way that he was placed within like the World Cup performances, I'm like, okay, so I guess you have as much impact right now as like Madonna and Shakira, like, I guess. BTS, I guess. That was so wild. But I don't know. I mean, like, they can't really go outside without being recognized. How long do you think that authenticity is sustainable if they're like celebrities at this level already?
I mean, Speed is kind of his own beast, not to say another streamer's name there, but IShowSpeed is sort of like, he really is just consistently going to different countries. And like, there are people who follow him. Like, there's a guy who will follow him from country to country to get into his live stream in the background. I mean, this happens to a lot of streamers.
I had enough money to follow IShowSpeed from country to country, I would not be worried.
I'd just be going on vacation. I'd just be going on vacation.
I would just be going on vacation and spending my money and counting it.
Yeah, I think with every creator, there's a moment where they get big enough and then their core audience or part of their core audience will turn on them for like no longer being authentic or relatable or something. But I think now maybe we're at the point where like that even is a little Pollyanna-ish to assume that like people are now like maybe even rooting for their favorite creator to like go nuclear and sort of pivot or whatever, because I think it's now just sort of assumed that once you get big enough, you will have to pivot to something else. Kai Cenat, who's known for these marathon streams, just took like a 8-month break to like work on other projects and you know, just mental health stuff. Like, you know, anyone would want a break after that. But it doesn't mean he's any less influential.
Exactly. So like there is a limit, and like especially women streamers or queer streamers have run into issues where, you know, they're streaming IRL in real life and they get people who show up and want to start stuff, who harass them, who refuse to leave them alone. This happened 2 years ago with a group of women streamers who were streaming IRL together. That's all a risk. And then on top of that, obviously, when you're live streaming, again, you have these people who want to be in the background because maybe they'll get clipped. Maybe they'll get clipped for doing something stupid in your live stream. So I think streaming and live streaming in general and the kinds of celebrity that it's pulled in now, there is always that. It feels like it's on the precipice of when does this go too far? So now we're like increasingly rewarding bad behavior from people trying to claw their way up the content creator ladder.
Coming up after the break.
If you're a media company, for example, and you're not giving people, you know, something that they really cannot get anywhere else, or if you're just like, yeah, doing the same thing as anyone else, you have no chance because the ad market's dead.
Stick around.
This message comes from Wise, the smart way to manage your money around the world. With Wise, you can send, spend, and receive money in over 40 currencies at the mid-market rate. Learn more at wise.com. T's and C's apply.
Support for NPR and the following message come from 20th Century Studios' The Dog Stars, only in theaters and IMAX this Friday. Visionary filmmaker Ridley Scott returns with a gripping post-apocalyptic thriller. When a mysterious radio transmission shatters a lone pilot's isolated existence, he embarks on a dangerous journey in search of hope. Starring Jacob Elordi, Josh Brolin, Margaret Qualley, Allison Janney, and Guy Pearce. The Dog Stars, only in theaters and IMAX this Friday. Get tickets now. Support for this podcast and the following message come from Strawberry.me. Be honest. Are you happy with your job? Are you stuck in a job you've outgrown or never wanted in the first place? Are your reasons for staying really just excuses for not leaving? Let a career coach from Strawberry.me help you get unstuck. Discover the benefits of having a dedicated career coach in your corner and get 50% off your first coaching session at strawberry.me/NPR. This message comes from Capella University. That spark you feel? That's your drive for more. Capella University's FlexPath learning format lets you earn your degree at your pace without putting life on pause. Learn more at capella.edu.
I want to talk a little bit more about sort of like how this attention that all these creators are getting can be profited from. Like, you know, most people are used to getting their ads in the form of interruptions to their content. We're used to getting commercial breaks. We're used to getting ad sponsorships. That's one way that we're used to seeing influencers make money off of all of our attention. But Alyssa, in your conversation with our producer, Corey Antonio, you pointed to how the model is changing to something much more discreet. Mm-hmm. How so?
So already brands, I think working with creators have had to sort of relinquish a little bit of control. Creators build their brands. They're very successful because they are the way that they are. And at this point, the successful creators are so successful, they'll walk away from a brand deal if it's asking them to do something that they feel like won't ring true with their audience. They're at that point now where they hold the keys in many ways, which is crazy when you think about how much money goes into this economy. So what happens though with something like streaming is obviously initially streaming being associated with video games, it was really only like video game peripherals and video game companies that felt comfortable, advertising there. Then as just chatting, which is really just could be anything, IRL streaming or people doing political streams or people just talking about celebrities, all of that stuff gets under that umbrella. And that's now the most popular genre of streaming, which is, it's not even gaming anymore. So brands want to get involved in this way, obviously. But like to your point, a streamer stopping in the middle of a 2-hour stream while they're having a conversation to say like, and by the way, this is why I like insert lip balm here.
Well, it's a little too Truman Show.
It's too much. And they're especially with streamers, I think almost even more so than other creators, the parasocial connection is very intense and they read something that it's not normal to their streamer very quickly and it'll turn them off fast. But what brands are recognizing with these, especially with these like themed streams that are in places that are streamathons or they take place over several days and they're well thought out. I mean, Kai Cenat put a lot of effort into building this entire program out. What they recognize they can do is they can just be in the background.
Go. Get out.
Wait, I get a Red Bull?
Yes, you can get a Red Bull.
Yo, Red Bull sponsor me.
It's in y'all rooms too, bro.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
I can take this fridge though?
They can be all eating Zaxby's while they're chasing each other around the hallway. Or Ludwig, one of the creator professors who gave one of the best lessons in how to grow as a creator, which everyone who wants to grow as a creator is going to watch, is giving that lesson with a giant Red Bull fridge behind him the entire time. And those clips are getting clipped and shared and getting millions of views. And now it doesn't look like Ludwig saying, go drink Red Bull, but it's there and it's in the background. And it's so successful that some companies that were activating at Streamer University were paying for clippers to clip stuff with their content in the background. So it's really this like incredibly interesting flywheel that we've now sort of seen spin off. And I don't think it would be happening if it weren't for the clipping economy.
Wow.
It's wild.
Oh my gosh. Because then also too, brands get even more impressions than just the original sort of hit of content. It's like it can be clipped, reclipped, reshared, and like even unofficially clipped, and just make it further than it's like they're paying for. It's like they're paying for way fewer impressions,
and it's pennies that you would pay for like a full blown marketing push or ad spend on any of these platforms. It's pennies. So you do the initial amount to be in the background of Streamer University, and then you're paying pennies on the dollar to make sure that stuff gets shared and reshared. And I mean, I don't know,
right? Because no one the fandom does it on their own,
exactly,
and then usually the streamer will do it. That's so wild. We've talked on the show many times over the past 4 years about how we have been hurtling toward a media environment where everyone from journalism institutions to small independent creators are competing for clicks and views. And oftentimes the winners are the loudest people with the most outrageous things to say or do. It kind of feels very safe to say that we're like no longer just hurtling towards that environment. We are fully there. Where do you both see us going from here?
I think it's one of those things like the regular economy. It's very like K-shaped. Like the haves will continue to have even more of the tiny sliver of the top, and the have-nots will continue to have even less of that. I think the same thing is happening in the creator economy, like everywhere. Like people that have already amassed a huge audience are able to leverage that for brands, but the sort of middle class of creators and the like new coming class of creators have a lot harder of time doing that. And so if you're a media company, for example, and you're not giving people, something that they really cannot get anywhere else, or if you're just like, doing the same thing as anyone else, you have no chance because the ad market's dead.
Yeah. And most creators are not making a living off of content creation. Like Rebecca's saying, like it really will continue to be like the bottom funnel kind of creators, which are the creators that get involved in like programs for retail companies where they're just kind of like making a ton of content that is either used or not used by the company. And they usually get like rewards, or they get a little bit of kickback on affiliate spend, which is like Target, Starbucks, like the Gap. They all do stuff like that. And that's something that you can make a little bit of side money with, obviously. And I think that's going to continue happening because brands recognize that the reach and the engagement that they get from creators is obviously stronger and stronger than traditional ad buys would. And that gap is, I think, widening. That's all stuff that, like, I don't know if trickle down creator economics works, or if we're just going to keep seeing millionaire creators who have figured it out that have become like celebrities. It's a really interesting and bizarre time, I think, because companies are spending more and more on this. The creator economy is growing. The ad spend going into that is going to continue to grow. But it's really a matter of like, yeah, is the pie going to get bigger for creators, or is it just going to get bigger for the ones that are already making a ton of money?
That is an interesting question. And I guess we'll have to get back together to talk about that once we see how that turns out. So I appreciate having you both on to discuss that today. Alyssa, Rebecca, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
That was Rebecca Jennings, features writer for New York Magazine, and Alyssa Mercante, senior reporter at Digiday. This episode of It's Been a Minute was produced by
Corey Antonio Rose.
This episode was edited by
Nina Patak.
Our supervising producer is
Cher Vincent.
Our executive producer is
Barton Girdwood.
Our VP of programming is
Yolanda Sanguini.
All right, that's all for this episode of It's Been a Minute from NPR. I'm Brittany Luce. Talk soon.
This message comes from Poshmark. If your fashion wish list lives rent-free in your brain, you need to be on Poshmark. With Poshmark, you're shopping millions of listings from thousands of closets, vintage finds, designer pieces, and everyday staples, all in one place. Search, or let the discovery come to you. Poshmark makes it easy to find what you actually want to wear at prices that feel like a quiet win. Download the Poshmark app today and use code NPR when you sign up to get $10 off your first purchase.
This message comes from Grainger. For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need to get the job done. With fast delivery and access to technical product experts ready to help you meet any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
This message comes from Mattress Firm. Different sleep preferences? Mattress Firm's sleep experts can match you with a Tempur-Pedic Split King sleep system. Visit Mattress Firm's best sale of the year and save up to $1,400. Restrictions apply. See store for details.